It's 2 a.m., production alert, server is slow, users are complaining, and the worst part, you don't know why. If you ever been in this situation, save this video, you'll need it one day. This is exactly how I debug production using Linux commands. These are 10 Linux commands I personally use in production when things are breaking. Not theory, real debugging. Now, let's start with the testing the service. For that, I'm going to use curl http colon localhost port 8080. Press enter. I get an error, connection refused. So something is wrong and I don't know what yet. First, let's try to check if the app is even running or not. For that, I'm going to use ps hyphen grep python, press enter, and I can see some of the processes running at the moment, but I don't see my application running. It's not here. And honestly, I could stop here because the application is not running. But in production, it's never that simple. So let me confirm everything else before jumping into the conclusion. Now, I would like to check the CPU usage. For that, I'm going to use this command ps process id percentile CPU. I'm trying to sort this CPU followed by head -n 5. Press enter. It gave me first 5 lines and nothing unusual. Everything is showing it as 0 for us. So this looks okay. Then now let's try to check the memory. For that, I'm going to use free-h command. Press enter. Now, if you look at this memory here, most engineers panic at used. But look at available. We have a lot of space available, so memory is not the problem. Followed by, we are going to check the disk space. For that, I'm going to use df -h, press enter, and if you look at the disk space, it looks perfect, available 44 gigabytes, use 53%. If there's some problem with respect to disk, we would not be able to run any kind of commands if the disk is kind of full. Then the disk is also okay here, and the disk is also okay here. Let's try to check the port information. lsof-i followed by, I would like to check port 8080 if it is in use. Press enter, and I don't see any kind of process is being used by this particular port. This confirms that this port is still available. Now let's try to check the application logs. For that, I'm going to use tail command followed by the file name. Press enter. Now, by looking at this particular log file, I don't see any kind of hints. It just says waiting for file processing request and stuff. But I don't see much useful information here. Also, let's say if you are unable to find this particular log file very easily, you can also use find command followed by slash name of that particular application log. Then I'm going to use 2 greater than slash dev slash null, which will print the exact location of the application.log file. As you can see, home vbox user application log. Here my application log is, let's say, sitting. If you are kind of, confused, you can use this particular command. Then let's try to look at the live system view and see what's going on. For that, I'm going to use this top command, press enter. You can see a lot of information here using this command and get to know all the details about your application, CPU, memory, everything in detail. Everything looks normal for me. Now I'm going to clear the screen and try to run the history command followed by tail-n 5. I would like to check the last 5 lines, what all we did. So if you see, we did not do anything much, and I can see clearly find was used by me, clear, top, history. If you want, you can check for 10 more. So the same, what all I used so far in the terminal, I'm going to see that information. Maybe you can increase it by 20, for example, and you can see more information in this history, what was done lately. So we don't see anything obvious here. CPU is fine, memory is fine, disk is fine, port is empty, logs are not showing anything, which means there is nothing to debug because nothing is running. Now, let me try to run this application real quick. Python space http dot server space 8080. Press enter. Right now it is trying to serve on particular port 8080. Now let's try to run the curl command once again and see whether it's actually running and we are able to communicate with it. Curl http colon slash slash localhost colon 8080. Press enter. Now you see the difference. In the beginning, we were unable to talk to this particular application on this particular port. Now we can see some information coming back without any kind of errors. Production issues don't come with explanations, they come with pressure, and in that moment, you don't need more tools, you need clarity. And all of these commands which we used in this video will give you that. Save this before your next incident. And if you like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel and try to put your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.